What up, everybody? It's Luke. I'm back. Got another episode of the Daily Grind. It's our first post game episode, not post game, but like post game, I guess. The day after. Uh yeah, so we're gonna start out by recapping. I don't know how you all are feeling. I'm feeling a little sad. Not sad, just kind of a bummer. I was really expecting us to come out kicking teeth last night. And some guys did, like some dudes definitely balled out, but from the opening tip, it just seemed like we were kind of outmanned. I mean, after the first quarter, maybe like midway through the first, it's just kind of they were pedal to the metal and we just couldn't catch up. Every time we would make a run for it, like make a run at it, they would just bat us back down. Quick look at the box score for anybody who didn't get to watch the game. Dez was our leading scorer with 31 points. He also had 5 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. I mean, I'll talk more about him later, but Dez was just playing like an all-star last night. Marcus Smart also had a great debut. X played well, but other than those guys, there was just a lot to be desired, I'd say. I know it's early, but I think a lot of us had us winning that game. And it sucks, and then I feel like they're as much of a rival as we can. I feel like with the Zion and the Ja, with their same trajectories being drafted the same year, I feel like we're kind of tied together, our two teams. And it just always sucks to get beat by the Pelicans. I don't know what it is, but I hate getting beat by them almost as much as I hate getting beat by the Warriors. Makes me real grumpy. Yeah, and it's not that we just got beat, but when we looked outmatched the way we did, it just sucks. There were questionable coaching decisions. I mean, there's just a lot going on. We were talking about yesterday. I predicted Jaren to be the stats monster. I don't think he heard the podcast. I don't know if he even listened because he was not a great stats monster. His blocks were there. I mean, he picked up right where he left off. Black Panther had like 3 blocks in the first quarter, it felt like, but offensively, there was a lot more I wanted to see out of Jaren. If I had to award a stats monster, I'm not going to go with CJ. I hate CJ McCollum. Hate him. I hate him. I trained Grizz killer CJ McCollum just pisses me off. I mean, he always kills us. All him and Larry Nance Jr. They're the two guys that always just walk into our place and just I don't know. They show us who's boss, and it pisses me off because it's always those two dudes. I'm not going to give him the stats monster, and it's got to be Zion. I wasn't expecting Zion to play that well at all, but he had 23 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. He was 52.9% from the field, 71% from the line. Like, I didn't think that was going to be the game we got out of the big man with the summer he had. I just can't say I was expecting him to come out and be this good. Granted, he was gassed. I thought he was gassed in the first quarter. Dude was sweating, looked like he was out of shape. I mean, maybe he was sweating because he was hungry. I don't know. He was just like, he looked gassed, but it didn't matter. I mean, I was tweeting, Xing, whatever you want to call it. I was doing that, and I was like, is it just me or does he look gassed? And I'll be damned if he didn't stop. So I don't know if that's conditioning, but whatever it was, Zion was able to finish the game and beat our asses while doing it. Granted, I'm trying not to react like the sky is falling. This matchup is tough for us, as is Friday's matchup against Denver. Both of those, we don't match up well against that. With the Steve-O news, those are big bodies. It's JV, that's Jokic, and we just don't have the size to put against those dudes. The size or the strength. And especially if TJ isn't going to play junior for whatever reason, like we got nothing. We got no size for those dudes. So these aren't our best matchups. I'm trying I'm trying not to overreact. We tend to overreact in this business, and we tend to jump to conclusions. I'm trying not to do that. I did have us winning this game, but we're notoriously bad in season openers. We're also notoriously good at home. I feel like we'll bounce back. Just keep your head up, guys. Keep your chins up. It's one game of 82. There was stuff to like, which we'll hit in a minute. There was stuff to not like. But at the end of the day, Grizzlies basketball is back, and that's all that I freaking care for. I got to watch Grizzlies hoops last night, and that's cool. And we get to watch it tomorrow. We get basketball. If who gives a shit if we lose a game here and there? It's back. So I'm excited. I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to do a new segment that I'm doing. It's 2 things that I liked, 1 thing I didn't. Going to touch on last night's game. I might even fudge it a little bit because there wasn't that much to like about last night's game. So I might even do 1 thing to like and 2 things to not like. But we'll go over that as soon as we take a break.
I am highly upset, man.
Oh, man.
ESPN, you dastardly dogs you. Last week had us feeling good. They picked the Grizzlies to be first in the West with about 48.5 wins. And what a difference a few days makes.
What a difference.
You put out your list of the top 100 players in the NBA. Desmond Bain jumps in at 61. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes in at number 31. Jaren's top 25 to me, but if you all right, whatever. I think that's a little slight to Jaren. Desmond Baines is disgusting, in my opinion. Then we get Ja Morant, All-NBA player, 2-time All-Star, one of the most dynamic offensively players in the NBA, Ja Morant. That guy was number 35 on their list, Kenny Stubblefield. The same people that said the Grizzlies will be the first team in the West. They're going to get that done with just some regular dudes.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Just curious, you kind of talked about the transfers and things like that. How has that changed your mindset from a roster management standpoint? Like, incredible recruiter. All the classes, I think we had 2 back-to-back and 21 and 22 top classes. How does that change with the transfer portal? Do you start focusing more on upperclassmen? Do you kind of get away from the younger freshmen? How does that work?
Yeah, so I still believe in our coaching staff and the way we do things and developing guys. And that I will never get away from that philosophy. We're still going to recruit a high school class. Now, there's a lot of colleges out there that say, screw this. We're pushing all the chips in on this roster, win right now, and we'll figure it out. Sure. And if it doesn't, right, it implodes and bad things happen. But I think you still have to bring in true freshmen and develop them and see what they can become. And that I'll never waver from that. But the portal certainly changed things.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Real quick, I want to take a moment just to say, if you were not an insider with Bluff City Media, check it out. We're putting out the most content out there. You're getting stuff every day, multiple features every day, covering the Grizzlies, covering the Tigers, covering the Redbirds. There's just a lot going on in the city in the 901, and it's all here. Memphis is a hell of a city, and Bluff City Media is covering the whole thing. Got a ton of shows every day, every game day. After the game, we'll have the Grizz 901 live post-game show. That's with Daniel and Nate. They're both awesome dudes. Know their stuff. We also got the Anthony Sane show. That's Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. He was actually on the post-game show last night. Those dudes had a good time. We also got Bluff City Bets. I don't know if there's any of you guys that like to make a little extra money, but you can do it if you watch that show. Trust me, I'm a terrible, terrible gambler, but I've even made a little bit of money doing this. So check that out. Can't beat it. And it's only $5. It's $5 a month. That's like 5 of those 99-cent Arizona green tea can things. That's like nothing. You can just have that auto coming out and you'll forget it. It's less than a streaming service and you'll get more content. It's cool. You should just check it out. All right, but back to it. So last night's game. Normally I would be covering two things that I enjoyed from the game, like two things that were good, two things that Mark's still out for the week, but two things that the two of us enjoyed out of the game, and one we didn't. Since last night was kind of a bummer, I'm gonna fudge this a little bit. So one thing I liked, two things I didn't. The one thing I liked was the starters looked pretty solid, other than offensively from Jaren, which I'm sure they'll get him involved more. But the starters looked pretty good, especially Dez. We're going to start the campaign now. Like Dez is going to be an all-star this year. Like he's going to be an all-star. If he keeps this up, I mean, he was game high 31 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, 50% from the field, 50% from 3, 80% from the line, like 50-50-80 splits. That's really fucking good. Pardon my language. Like that's a really, really good. And he played like he was the best player on the court last night. And on a team with Jaren Jackson Jr. and on a court that also saw Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, like this dude was the dude. Like there was no questioning it. And when he gets speed, when he gets a head full of speed and he's just running toward the basket and he does that little, you can't stop him, man. And he's got that step back where they fly by him. I think we're going to be in for a really, really, really special season out of Dez. Like I said, all-star. We're going to push the narrative. We've been pushing it all off season. Let's keep it going. Dez, all-star. And he wasn't the only starter that balled out. Like in his debut, Marcus Smart was pretty good. 17 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. He turned the ball over a lot, but hell, I don't, that's fine as long as he's doing the other stuff. He was 54.5 from the field, 33.3% from the line, 50% or 33% from deep. Like, and not only that, but Marcus knew when to stop shooting. Oh, I know we're not used to that as Grizzlies fans. Normally we're used to Dylan Brooks shooting us out of 2 playoff series, but Marcus, our shot was not falling last night. And Marcus was one of those dudes who registered that early. He saw that his shot wasn't falling. And instead of continuously shooting the ball, i.e. Dylan, he was making sure other people who had open shots got the ball. Those shots weren't going in either, but he was at least facilitating it to him, like, if that's a sign of what we're getting out of Marcus, that's good. And like, we were playing like big boys last night. Like there was no, I don't want to say no goofing around, but like when they were coming to the ring, Sane was talking about this on the 901 show the post-game show. Like there was no dancing. They were serious. They were there to hoop and they were there to win. It didn't happen, but they came to play. And X2. I think X was a big topic of conversation the past few days with the Steven Adams news and us assuming that X was going to get the start as he did. And he was more than serviceable. Dude was pretty damn good. I don't know if anybody was expecting him to not be good, but 17 points, 12 rebounds. 12 rebounds is awesome. I think he might have had, that's just as much as JV. Like that's awesome. And JV didn't have a single offensive rebound. Like 12 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, a block. Like that's damn good, and he was 100% from the line, which anytime we can get guys make their shots from the line, yes, please, which I think the Grizzlies might've been. Oh my God. We were 80% from the line, y'all. I don't think we ever got 80% from the line last year ever. That's fucking awesome. Pardon my language again, but that's cool. And then Zaire and Jaren, the last 2 starters, I think Zaire kind of had a tough assignment last night. He was on BI the entire game, most of the game at least. And BI's tough. He's a good player. And I mean, he's tough to contain. And Zaire was fine, like 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from deep, 4 boards, no assists, no steals or blocks. He normally is a little bit better in those areas, but I'm not worried, for the first game starting, he could have been much worse. And Jaren, like the Block Panther was back up to his old ways out of the gate, blocking the ball. Like I said, 3 block shots, I think, in the first. He was 100% from the line, but he only had 8 points. And not just that, he was 0 of 5. 0 of 5 from deep. When you're 0 of 5 from deep and 2 of 9 from the field, you're going to need more than that out of your superstar. Out of these first 25 games, we are going to need more out of Jaren than that. We just are. I'm not doubting that we'll get it. I fully believe we're going to get it. It's just early, man. And I don't know if Jaren, we know he doesn't match up well against JV and Zion. Like, this was a tough matchup for us. I thought we were still going to win, but I think the starters, if they look this good against New Orleans, I feel like they will only continue to get better. And especially if Tripp's offense starts clicking, we're not going to have to worry about him at all. Now, we might have to worry about some of the other stuff. We're going to take another break, but when I get back, we're going to talk about a couple things. It'll be more than one thing that we didn't like here. I'm going to, smudge the rules a little bit for today, and we might even two things. Let's do one thing that I liked and 2 things I didn't like, just to keep it fresh. How about that? But we'll get to that right after this break.
Seth Hennigan just still, he
Doesn't look himself.
He just doesn't, in the big moments, he's not making the plays that have to be made. If you look at the raw stats, they're not terrible, but the 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he fumbled twice. They didn't lose those fumbles, but 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, one of them coming at a terrible time on a 4th down late in the game when Memphis really needed to put points on the board. But I just don't think Seth is playing well enough to elevate this team.
Right.
I think he's playing well enough for Memphis to be fine, but as far as for them to do something special and to elevate this team, he's just not playing like that.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Kenny, there are certain guys in the NBA that are enigmatic players. They're going to be appealing to a large fan base. But when you have guys like that who, like John Morant, who have off-court issues he's had, Kyrie Irving has had the things he's had, the NBA doesn't particularly like the fact that those guys are larger than life. If I'm the NBA, if I'm ESPN, who of course are working together on all this stuff,
Yeah.
I'm going to start telling you who you need to like. And it's going to be a different type of guy to kind of play off of the guys that are going to be there anyway. Let me put these squeaky clean image guys that we want to put in front of you up there as well to kind of counteract some of the stuff we get with the guys that we don't have any control out of. So let me put the Tyrese Halliburtons in front of you. Let me put the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders in front of you, the Josh Giddeys. Let me force these guys in front of you, not particularly on national television games, but let me just kind of create these little sub agendas with these guys to kind of make them those second tier stars that we're gonna like put out in front as well. Like, they're doing this on purpose, man. Like, if anybody can't see this, like, come on, man. Do not sit there and tell me that you really think that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Man, Sing cracks me up every time, just Halliburton catching strays like that. Anyway, y'all, welcome back to the Daily Grind. We're here with Bluff City Media. We're Bluff City Media's daily Grizzlies show, Monday through Friday. We're going to be me, going to be Mark, going to be other people. We're just going to be talking Grizz. You can also catch Sane Show, like you just saw in the commercial, over at Bluff City Media. That's Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. We also have Bluff City Bets. That's every Fridays. Helps you put a little bit of extra money in your pocket. We got Tigers Untapped. That's Wednesdays at 3. And we also have Grizz 901 Live, the post-game show after every single home game. It might even be every single game, but I know it's every single home game. Sorry if I'm messing up, Daniel. But that's Daniel and Nate. They're awesome. And it's only $5 a month, y'all. If y'all want to be a Bluff City Media insider, $5 a month, get a shit ton of content about everything Memphis, everything Grizzlies, everything Tigers, everything. We got our fingers on the pulse of the city, y'all. So you're going to want to pay that $5. You know, it's a cost of a biggie bag from Wendy's, and who doesn't love biggie bags, you know? But now you can, if you have $10, you can get a biggie bag and get a $5 monthly insider subscription. So you can read Grizzly stuff while you're eating your biggie bag, right? Pretty good deal. But anyway, we're going to get to our last segment here. So the stuff that I didn't like, I'm not a negative person. I would probably say that I am obnoxiously optimistic. I don't see the point in being negative. I think it's exhausting. But there were things to not like about the game last night. I would say there were several things to not like about the game last night. So instead of doing two things I liked and one thing I didn't, I'm going to do one thing I liked, like the last segment. We're going to do two things that I did not like. The first of which, the second unit. We're going to have to figure it out. I know there's no Santi. That hurt us. There's no Ja. So, like, we got someone who's normally going to be on the bench starting. But out of the second unit today, the only guy, every single guy in the second unit had a negative plus minus. And not just a negative plus minus. And I know that's not everything. I know plus minus isn't everything. I get that. But three of the four bench guys had a plus minus lower than negative 10. That's not good. It's really not good. The only one, here's who we ran off of our bench rotation for anybody who wasn't able to watch. We only played 9 guys last night. Not sure why. There's someone else that I would have played. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But we played 9 guys total. We played the starters, and the bench rotation was David Roddy, Luke Kennard, Jake LaRavia, Derrick Rose. I would say 3 of those 4 guys are probably going to be in our playoff rotation. I imagine, or maybe not playoff rotation, but 3 of those dudes are going to be, they're not going anywhere. You know, like 3 of those guys are going to be here the entire season. You know, Kennard, Roddy, and Rose, I feel pretty strongly we're going to be seeing them a lot. That being said, the only one of those dudes that actually played a solid game, I would say, and that's no shade to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose played really, really, really well, and he was asked to do a lot. But David Roddy was the one that played well. He was 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from the deep. He had 5 boards, 2 assists, and only turned the ball over once, so 9 points. And he was guarding Zion. Roddy was the first guy off the bench. I should say that. He was the first one off the bench, and he was on Zion a lot. That's not terrible. You know, that's pretty good. But Luke Kennard, like the Grizzlies lost the lead when the second unit came in. There was no question in it. I mean, they got dominated when Jaren or Dez weren't on the floor. They got dominated. And it was particularly bad with this group. I love Luke Kennard. I have been on the Luke Kennard, you know, it's good name. Great name, some might say. Good gospel, good Jedi. Luke is a strong name. And I have been on the Luke Kennard 6th Man of the Year train since the end of last season. I think Kennard still think that he is going to get that award and is going to be huge for this team. But I don't know what's going on, y'all. He was 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 5 from the line. He made all of his 3 throws. He was 3 of 3. He had 2 boards, 2 assists. That's pretty good, but his shot just from beyond the arc just isn't falling. It's not. I used to think that was an automatic bucket every time it left his hands, and it's just it worries me, man. Like, they're just shooting way too many threes. Like, and if my shot's not falling, like Kennard, and granted, Kennard got busted up. He got busted up. Like, he was bleeding. I think he was being reevaluated for something. Like, I hope he's okay, because we need him out there. We're going to need him out there. We're going to need his offense desperately. But 0 of 5, man. 0 of 5 from when you're a 3-point specialist. 0 of 5 isn't good. And he's not been great in any of the preseasons. I don't think he's made more than 2 threes all preseason. Like, that ain't great. And I don't know why LaRavia is still, no shade to LaRavia, but dude was 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 2 from deep, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. And he's just too slow. He's too slow for like these NBA offenses. I don't know, which brings me to the next thing I didn't like. I don't know why TJ played LaRavia, but did not play Junior or Conchar. Like, when you lose Steve-O a couple days before the season, and then you lose Santi the day before the season, and you technically have 3 bigs on your roster. You got Jaren, you got X, and now you have Junior. Why in the hell would you not at least play Junior? And not only that, but like, if your offense is as stagnant as ours was, and not just that, but our second unit offense, if our offense is as stagnant as it was last night, and you know the Junior, you know, if at least for 5 minutes he will give you a pop in the arena and on the team, even if it's just for 5 minutes, that defenses won't know what to do with him, and he'll be able to get you buckets. Like, that's more than what was going on last night. We were out rebounded last night. How many rebounds we had? We had 20, 37 to 52. We were out rebounded. If you're getting out rebounded that bad, I'm sure as shit playing Junior, and I'm also sure as shit playing Jitty. Like, and I've been very, very happy that TJ has kind of thrown his security blanket of Jitty away, not away, but kind of set it aside. But we really could have used the rebounding last night. We've been praising TJ for the changes that he's been making so far in the preseason, but 2 glaring holes that I saw last season carried over into last night. The unwillingness to play Junior, and I don't know, and not only not playing, but he got slapped with a DNP last night. Coach's decision. Like, if you need size, I'm sure as shit not doing that. I don't know what's going on there. I don't. I know Jitty's been going through some stuff. I believe Daniel was telling me that the other day. I'm not shitting on Jitty. You know, I just wish TJ would have adapted more. You know, he makes adjustments, man. He's good at that, but they weren't happening last night. And I don't know if it's because the offense wasn't happening either. I don't know if there was just so much not happening for this team last night that he didn't know what to do. But the second unit decisions and the decision to not even let Jitty or Junior see the court at all, I question both those, man. Like, it's game 1. Like I said, we're not overreacting yet, but I'm going to need to see some adjustments by game 2. I know it's not another matchup that's not good for us. We'll go more into that tomorrow, but I want to see this, maybe mix up the second unit some more, maybe play Junior. There's a thought, you know, we're going to be playing Jokic. He's a big son of a bitch. Like, maybe play another big body. I don't know. Maybe play a body that can bully him around a little bit, or at least try. I mean, X did his damnedest. He really did. And he did a damn good job, but he can't be the only one to hold it down. He just can't. It's asking too much of him. We already ask a lot out of him, and that might be too much. So I keeping my fingers crossed that this was just a little hiccup, you know. Like I said earlier, we suck in openers. We've sucked in openers for a hot minute. That doesn't surprise me that much. Just some of the decisions in last night's game surprised me. You know, I hope we'll see some changes. They got all day today. You know, I'm sure he'll have them ready for tomorrow. I hope we see a little bit of a different second unit. I hope we see Junior. I Guarantee you Dez is still going to go off. And the biggest thing I hope we see, though, is I really, really hope we see more of Jaren offensively. If we can get him going at all, didn't happen last night. If we can get him going at all, I would feel much better. Even if this team drops the first 2 games, knock on any wood you can find, even if that happens, because tomorrow's game is going to be tough, I'd feel better if we adjusted and looked a little bit better tomorrow. Gotta pick our shots better. Gotta not turn the ball over. Just everybody breathe, adjust. Let's wait to panic. Still a couple more games, but let's wait to start panic until after the next game. How about that? That's gonna be it for me, y'all. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Going to be here tomorrow morning as well. Again, if you are not a Bluff City Media insider, please check that out. Got a lot of guys over there. Love this team. Love the city. Giving you a lot of content, just check it out. And again, I'm Luke. This is the Daily Grind. I will be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for chilling with me today, y'all. Go Grizz.